I've been trying to make this video for like a fucking week, but every time I would get my camera set up and I would start recording, something would happen. I would either get busy or my fucking neighbor would start blasting music loud as hell. And so I think I should get out of the way now before something else happens. So I have records like a lot of people. I got a pretty humble collection. I barely got my 40th record. And for the longest time, I was kind of just uploading my collection onto my Instagram story, which is fine, like that works, but it's kind of limiting. It doesn't let me fully talk about the albums or say what I want to say. And just for like personal use and for like looking back on my thoughts and how they've changed, I decided I should start just like uploading kind of longer reviews onto here. It's not going to be anything like crazy in depth or analytical. I'm not a critic or anything. I just like talking about it. At first I was just gonna go through them in the order that I got them in, but that's kind of lame. So I'm gonna just pick some out and talk about what I want to talk about. Today I'm feeling Enter the Wu-Tang, Death Metal, and Fantasma. Starting off real strong with Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. This album kicks ass, man. One of the most important rap albums of all time that really helped establish like a new direction for the genre, especially more like hardcore hip-hop spaces, for good reason too. This album hits the nail on the head in so many different aspects: the vocal performances, the beat, the overall atmosphere in the album. The production here is pretty simple, but that doesn't make it a bad thing. It's not that it's not impressive. It's just one thing that I've always liked about boom bap rap is that the beats tend to have this sort of simpleness to it that allows the vocal performances to shine through and take center stage, which on this album especially, an album that has 9 different rappers on it, that especially holds true. Every single rapper on here is amazing. Jizza, Method Man, Inspector Deck, Master Killer, Ghostface Killer, You God, Raekwon, Old Dirty Bastard, and of course RZA, who produced the album. They each have their own flair and their own charm that they sprinkle into the record. And it all comes together into, I don't know how else to describe this album. It's really bouncy. It's both a result of the production and like the way that the lines are delivered. It's so hard to not just like bob your head along with every single song. Bring the Ruckus is such a good intro track. It's literally calling for chaos and conflict. It sets the stage for the album. It's like, it's dark, it's gritty, it's violent. Which the aggressiveness on this album is kind of funny sometimes. Like the skits on here are funny as hell. Like, what's funnier than Raekwon and Method Man talking about how they're gonna stick burning hot rocks in your ass. I do tend to enjoy the Wu-Tang Sword side of this album more. Sorry if I could get to focus the second half. The Mystery of Chess Boxing has a super memorable beat. I mean, that fucking ooh ah.
Raw, I'ma give it to you with no trivia. Roll like cocaine straight from Bolivia.
Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with has some of my favorite rapping on the whole album. It's super rough, and I love that chorus where every single member comes together. It's so fucking cool. It has this haunting sound to it, like I'm watching an old black and white horror film. And of course there's Cream, which for a lot of people is this album's highlight. Super chill song, this really nice piano melody playing in the back. It's awesome. Arguably one of the most iconic rap songs of all time. I mean, Method Man's fucking chorus is in Fortnite. Method Man, which if you hold your horses, I don't know if you can believe this, it's all Method Man, not counting the intro and the outro. I love his confidence and how like almost effortlessly he's delivering his performance on there. I mean, this 4-track run specifically, that's crazy, dude. I'm kind of struggling to think about what other songs to talk about, which for me, that's an indicator of a really good album, which you'll probably see me repeating that sentiment a lot in like future videos. If I'm struggling to pick the standout songs on the album or my favorite songs, or they're always switching around, that tells me it's a good ass album. That means like quality throughout the entire project is really consistently good. And the actual record itself is just in black and red. Actually, it's kind of this orangish color. I love the gigantic ass shout out list on the back. One thing I love about this album too is the cover. I love an album where the cover looks like what the music sounds like. And this is exactly what I'm picturing when I'm listening to this album. A bunch of guys all cornering me, and then one starts rapping. It's like a fucking assembly line. He finishes rapping, he goes to the back of the line, next person comes up, because that's how the album is. It's like everyone's flowing into each other like butter. And I'm gonna be saying this a lot, but it really captures the atmosphere well. It's dark, it's gritty, it's like Enter the Wu-Tang, 36 Chambers, phenomenal album, really good, awesome, kicks ass, sick. Next up we got
Don't play the trap,
This is one of the coolest things to ever come out of the internet. If you don't already know the story of this album by now, Panchico was a band formed by people my age back in 1999. Might have been a little bit before that, I'm not too sure. But they were teenagers when they formed this band. And they had dreams of going on to become musicians known around the world. But unfortunately, like a lot of dreams for a lot of people, it just didn't come true. They sent out a few EPs, sent it to a couple of journalists, but nothing ever happened. And so they disbanded and then went on with their lives. Decades later, some random dude on 4chan finds the original CD at a Goodwill for like $5, which I never got that. Whoever gifted that CD to Goodwill, how did you listen to that shit and you thought, oh, this sucks? Like, what? But it built up this cult following, and then this huge effort to track down the original members of the band. Because even though they had put their names on the back of the album, they only put their first names. They didn't put their last names. And by some miracle, they were able to find him. And from there, the rest was history. The band reunited, they started making new music, and they were able to bring their musical dreams to life. In all the new releases of death metal, what it does is it combines the original 4-track death metal EP with the 3-track Kicking Cars EP. Both Kicking Cars and death metal were recorded by Owain Davies, who is the lead vocalist, Andy Wright, who is their guitarist, and Sean Faraday, who is their bassist. The fourth member was someone named John, who is a drummer, but they have no clue what his last name is, and they have not been able to track him down. Since then, new people have joined the band, but that was the original 4 who recorded this album. The opening track, Death Metal, starts off with a really nice string samples from Dr. Strangelove. It's a really nice, chilled, lo-fi hip-hop song, and it's a really good opener for the album. And it's a track that a lot of people know, and for a lot of people, it's their favorite. That's followed by Stabilizers for Big Boy. It has this more sharp feel to it. It has sharper vocals, sharper instruments. Overall, just more like raspy sound to it. Especially with Owain's performance, he has a sort of rasp to his voice in this song. Laputa goes down a more different route. It features an acoustic guitar as the main lead, and it has these really nice, soothing chords playing throughout. It's easily like probably the most calming song of the album. If the opening track, Death Metal, is a dream, then Laputa is like a daydream, if that makes sense. Guys of IBAD is one of the muddier songs on here. It sounds a lot darker and more distorted. I like it a lot. I tend to like the songs on here that have a more gritty feel to it. Knowing this was made by a bunch of 17-year-olds just makes it so much crazier. Like, damn, bro. I know I was just praising death metal, but I'm gonna be honest, Kicking Cars is so much better. It's not even close. Cut is the first song from this EP. Super, super good. It has such an alien sound to it. In the sense that this song sounds like it was made by sampling the sounds of a UFO. And it has some of my favorite guitar work on the album, just super good. Sodium Chloride brings back the more acoustic sound from Laputa, but I think it does it way better. It goes down like a more pop rock oriented sound. It's really, really upbeat and fun. It has a great vocal performance by Owain. And the last song, Kicking Cars, oh! Whoa! Fucking fantastic, man. Okay, maybe not that good, but great drum loop, the song progression, the atmosphere, the vocals. If it isn't obvious, this is my favorite song off the album. It just trumps everything else. This album also features 3 bonus tracks, which are demos for the Kicking Cars EP, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't think they're too relevant for this discussion. I love the holographic look on this. It's so sick. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, but this is from the 25th anniversary drop. It has this little binder thing on it. Then of course we've got the actual record itself. Now if you're very attentive, you might notice I have another one back there. So that was the first one that I had gotten, but when it got here it came destroyed. Okay, destroyed is an overstatement, but the first songs on both sides of the record had this really, really bad scratching sound to it, and so I shot Penchico an email and they were really cool. They just sent me a free replacement, which is the one I have right here. So I just have that one up on my wall because it looks cool. I think the main thing about this album and why a lot of people love it is that yeah, it's not some technical masterpiece by any stretch, but it's one of the most raw time capsules to ever be uncovered. The whole album has this like really crunchy old sound to it. It's not a forced, like they're not trying to go for that aesthetic. It's simply a result of the time and the resources that it was made with. And I think the backstory of this album being like the child of a lost band for 2 decades is kind of just like the cherry on top. Death metal essentially just takes you back into 1999, into the garage of a bunch of teenagers who had dreams of being musicians, and it just feels like a distant memory. So these videos aren't critical reviews, but I do have one thing I want to say, which like I think this album is kind of glazed. If we are talking about the original 4-track EP death metal, a lot of people just kind of like the first opening track and they don't really talk about the rest of the album. Meanwhile, Kicking Cars is only 3 songs long, in my opinion, better songs, more creative. And even if we're talking about the remaster of death metal, which includes both death metal and Kicking Cars, it's not even their best album. I'll get into that in a later review when I review their other album that I own. Side tangent aside, it's still really, really solid, good album. I just feel like a lot of people get kind of caught up in the cool backstory and make this album out to be a lot more than it really is. And because of that, they tend to allow that to overshadow their other work when I feel like they have much stronger albums. Regardless though, really good album, really happy to have it. I forgot to show y'all this, but look at the ghetto ass lighting setup I've got. This is meant to be a flashlight that goes on like your backpack, but I just clipped it onto my hat and I've got it pointed at me, and that's my lighting. Our last album is oh My god, I absolutely love this thing. All-time favorite. It's phenomenal, man. My first time listening to this, I literally thought like, wow, this is a trip. Which was kind of intentional. Cornelius himself said he wanted this album to be like a trip. It like takes you into this world and then drops you back out of it. And it's so fun and vibrant and energetic. It's my interpretation might be wrong, but to me at least, this is an album about music as an art form. The album is presented to the listener as if they're in the studio while it's being made. The opening track, Mic Check, is a mic check. Songs will start out kind of empty or with just a few instruments, and then slowly it builds up into this giant climax. I remember the first time I listened to this album, I was halfway through Mic Check, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty cool. And then the beat drops and you're taken to this whole other world. There's sounds coming at you from every single direction. This is one of those albums where I really wish I could listen to it again for the first time. Mic Check goes into the Micro Disney Cal World Tour, which is a song about how it feels to be at Disneyland. And again, it does that slow progression build-up thing. And you would expect after the first few times, it's like, okay, it's a gimmick, whatever, you know. But you just have to listen to it for yourself now, because nothing captures just how enthralling the beat drops on this album are. Like, the first half and the second half of some of these songs are just completely unrecognizable from each other. New Music Machine is one of my favorite songs of all time. Such a hard-hitting, energetic rock track. I get so lost in it every single time I listen to it, which again, might be a faulty interpretation, but I think that's an intentional design. The last portion of this song starts to build up this like droning sound, which to me at least, it represents the feeling of getting lost in a song where everything around you just starts to get drowned out because you're so locked into what you're listening to. Clash is a song about like the feeling of witnessing music live. The protagonist goes to a club, meets a girl he likes, and he's talking about like the music and just how good it is. I think for people who go to a lot of shows, we tend to forget just how beautiful they are. You're there in one closed space with a couple dozen, which if you're at a concert, it could be hundreds of thousands, all there coming together for a love of music. God Only Knows, which borrows a song title from the Beach Boys song, which off topic, the Beach Boys were a huge inspiration for Cornelius. God Only Knows is a song about a guy who's dying of some kind of illness, and in his last moments he's like humming a song to himself, and how he's like the only person in the world who knows how impactful it is, which I think for people who enjoy music a lot, you'll relate to that a lot. It shows how music can just have such a grip on your soul. I mean, one thing that a lot of people talk about is what songs do they want played at their funeral, you know? And then the ending track, Thank You for the Music, it blends elements from every previous song together, and then around the halfway point it starts flipping between every single song like you're flipping channels on a TV station, and then it ends with like the sound of a UFO starting up and taking off and then like flying into the sky with that cling sound effect. There's also 4 bonus tracks that were added alongside this album's reissue, but I'm just gonna focus on the main 13 tracks for now. It's a gatefold. Here we have Cornelius in the studio. Inner sleeves show a black and white version of the photo that would eventually become the album cover. And the records themselves are nothing crazy. They're black with orange center. Fantasma is an album that I adore so much, man. I found it completely on my own one night, and it hasn't left my daily rotation ever since. It's so fun, it's wacky, it's almost like it's borderline cartoonish. And the variety, I mean, this album is like rock, pop, acoustic, electronic, breakbeat, chiptune. It blends so many different things together, which to me at least makes this album a perfect representation of Shibuya-kei as a genre, because that's a genre all about combining different aspects of different genres together. Also, off topic, before I finish off, I guess a while after I had gotten this record, one of the bonus tracks blew up on like the artist side of Instagram and TikTok and Twitter, because I got this for like 40-50 bucks. The price shot up to like 85 to 100 now. So I'm glad I found this when I did, and thanks Instagram and TikTok, because I guess I own another expensive record now. So that's the end of the review portion of this video, but there's some other shit I want to do really quick. Like, one, I need to pick the next 3 albums I'm gonna review. So I've got the number wheel pulled up right here, and I assigned a different number for every album. And I'm just going to spin it, and whatever 3 it lands on, that's what I'm going to talk about next video. And our 3 albums are... Damn, Currents, and Selected Ambient Works, 1985-1992. So these are the 3 I'm going to be talking about in the next video. Next, one thing that I want to start doing at the end of these videos is talking about some albums that I think deserve way more attention than they get. My 2 recommendations for today's video are Symptoms of Suicide self-titled album and Love is a Stream by Jeffrey Cantu Ledesma. I completely fucked up that name. Symptoms of Suicide is a local hardcore 2-piece that I had seen live for the first time when I went to a show with one of my friends. They were the opener, so there weren't like too many people there to see them, but they were easily my favorite performance of the entire night, man. self-titled album is crazy. One, it sounds really good, which as much as I like hardcore, I do feel like sometimes the genre can sound a bit saturated, but they do their own really cool spin on it. I love it a lot. Two, the artistic vision is like insane. Like I already said it, but they do it in such a cool way. And then there's songs on here that incorporate like hip hop elements before going back into hardcore. And then they'll have these like funky, groovy breaks in between the songs. And there's like an acoustic singer-songwriter track on here. They're clearly having a lot of fun with what they're doing, and they're willing to branch out, explore, let their creative ideas shine, and I appreciate that a lot. It's a really good album. Check it out if you like hardcore. My second album recommendation is Love is a Stream. I honestly can't remember how I found this, but it's a drone ambient album, and I'm not a big drone guy by any means. I probably listen to more harsh noise stuff than I listen to drone, but this album is so good. It has this like distorted, almost shoegaze sound to it. It's not shoegaze, it's not rock, but this album sounds like if someone were to make a drone ambient album based on what Loveless by My Bloody Valentine sounds like. Every time I listen to this album, I start to zone out and I think about like the cosmos and the universe and how big everything is and how small I am and how futile everything I do is because hate death. So yeah, really good album, really good. Check it out. And that's all for today. So I'll see you guys whenever I upload next, assuming I don't just stop again. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.